Specifics is, again, Mr. Snyder is talking about that he believes there may be a substantial number of people. He puts that number at 20 to 30 people who, if they were satisfied with the treatment that Kathy Snyder received or the treatment that Gierfus received, that they might be in fact interested in coming out. The specifics are, how will these people be treated? Where will they be housed? Who will be filing charges? Will it be the state? Will it be the federal government? Will there perhaps be a change of venue because of the publicity associated with this? Will there be forfeiture proceedings against the compound? Those who are not charged, will they in fact have a home to return to after this is all over? This is a concern for some of those inside there. Yes, right here.
Question for the ATF. Could you clear up what happened when you originally went to the compound? There was one report that the agents got as far as the door and knocked on the door, and then Mr. Koresh actually opened the door before the shooting started. And could you also tell us, have you asked Mr. Koresh who called him to tip him off that the raid was coming? And what he said?
There's a twofold question. When we arrived at the scene, they've heard reports that we went up and knocked at the door. And secondly, have we asked Mr. Koresh who tipped him off? When the agents arrived at the scene, as I've mentioned before, there was a raid plan for the teams to go in different directions, but one agent got out, walked to the front door, and there was someone standing in the door. He said, federal agents with a search warrant. The door was slammed shut, and fire was received from approximately 40 or 50 positions within the compound. We have not asked Mr. Koresh who tipped him off. Find somebody different. Yes.
For the FBI, what consideration on the part of the FBI and what concern on the part of the branch Davidians was there that if they came out for a face-to-face meeting, that they would be arrested? And since they were not arrested in the first face-to-face meeting, what kind of report is that built for the first face-to-face?
The question is, what concerns were there that they would be arrested? And the fact that they were not arrested, does that in fact build rapport for further meetings and for resolution? We gave our word that they would not be arrested. The sheriff from McClendon County went out. He did not carry a firearm. Our agent did not carry a firearm. We tried to present it in such a manner that we would not be threatening to them. We agreed to meet them halfway on their road to show goodwill on our part. They would come halfway, we would go halfway. We had people stationed close by in the Bradleys who were there, who are openly displayed to them to show that if action was necessary, we would take action to defend our people. But the whole tenor was to be non-threatening. And we believe it was based on the comments that they made following that, and during the course of that discussion, we believe it was very constructive and perhaps could lead to additional developments.
Was there a long period of discussions, though, about whether they could be arrested or about their safety and face-to-face?
The follow-up question is, was there a long discussion about their safety and the potential of arrest? That really did not go on that long. It appeared to be something that we had reached somewhat of a deadlock in the negotiation stage. I think both sides were looking for some way to get this back on track. And it seemed like they eagerly accepted that. I don't believe that they knew. So far, we believe that we've kept our word. They may quarrel with that on different issues that have developed, but they know that they have been exposed at different times and we have not taken action. We've allowed them to leave the compound to bury a dog that remove dogs from the premises to bury one of the members there. So we've allowed them to move freely in and out at various times, so they did not feel threatened. Yes, on the end.
What capabilities do you think they have for storing the weapons used in the shootout?
I'll let the ATF answer that. Well, no capability to destroy it.
Right, here's the question. What capability do they have to destroy the weapons? I'm sure that listening to this today, they'll think about the question. They can destroy weapons, of course, if they want. Yes.
We've been told that ATF will be rotating agents this weekend, and that the agents coming in have been told to look for apartments, make long-term plans for an extended stay in Waco once the standoff ends. How long do you anticipate the investigation
what can you leave here when it's all over?
The question is that he has heard that we're making accommodations for additional apartments and that there's a rotation, and how long do we believe we'll be here after the standoff ends. Yes, we have a normal rotation coming up this week. I believe it's Sunday. We are looking to put people in apartments, and you rent those on a monthly basis, 30 days. I'm sure that when this ends, they're going to be here for at least 30 days, I'm sure, to just to gather evidence and do that type of thing. Yes, down on the end here.
The question is, the tapes that have been sent in from members of the family, they seem to be having any effect. We have not received a response concerning that yet. Hopefully the meeting will be set up today, and that will be one of the matters that we will discuss. Yes, right here.
In regard to those tapes, you mentioned earlier that you would censor tapes that were particularly incendiary. Have you received the tapes from these relatives that have said things along the lines of how to shoot them up or anything like that? How many of those have you received that have been incendiary?
The question is, have we received tapes that have been inflammatory in nature that would cause action? I don't know of any such tapes being there. The question was, had we reviewed the tapes, and obviously we are going to review those, but I would say without almost exception, and I have not reviewed every tape, the messages that we're receiving from family members are that they want this thing resolved, they want their well-being protected, and that they're encouraging them to end this particular matter. Yes, sir, right here in the blue.
Pastor Koresh and the members of the church have expressed a desire to have health-type medical assistance rather than AMA-type medical assistance. I understand that somebody has made an effort through the Red Cross to provide those means and the health remedies. Is any consideration being given to that, supplying the needs as they request?
Mm-hmm. The question is, have we made any efforts through the Red Cross or others to provide them with certain medical assistance? I'm not aware of that, to be honest. Over here on the back.
Yeah, question to follow up. When was the last time negotiators actually spoke to Koresh?
The question is, when is the last time that negotiators actually spoke to Mr. Koresh? I believe it was the day before yesterday, prior to the face-to-face meeting. The sheriff of McLennan County got on the phone with Steve Snyder, and then also he spoke to David Koresh regarding this face-to-face meeting. We requested, in fact, that Mr. Koresh come out, if possible. We would have rather had a face-to-face meeting with him. We believe he still completely controls the situation. We believe that today, if he said, okay, it's time to end it, if he gets the message that he's looking for, that everybody would walk out. He says that his injuries are such, though, that he would not be able to move around. I think that's where some of this came from, that his condition is deteriorating. But we believe that he may have difficulty walking, but it's not necessarily a downward trend. And it was during that conversation that we did speak with Mr. Koresh. Yes. The question is, what about his daily communications with God or attempts to receive a message from God? That is always an impediment, because in discussions with Mr. Koresh and Mr. Snyder, it's that the others are free to leave, and we're really talking about those other individuals. But it says when it comes to Mr. Koresh, he will not leave until he receives his message from God. So it's always that impediment that's slowing us down. Yes, here on the back in the hat.
You said that you may use speakers to play these messages if you get any more from Kathy Schroeder. Do you feel that maybe these tapes are not being played to others outside the inner circle, so that maybe all the members there are not hearing these messages?
The question is the use of the speaker to play messages. Do we feel that perhaps some of the other tapes and messages that we sent in are not being widely distributed? There is information that we receive from others who have left the compound, whether it's rightly or wrong. It's that the information is closely held in that compound only with the most trusted people inside. So we do have a concern that what we are sending in there is not being received by everyone inside the compound. Follow up? I'm not saying it's a way to undermine it. It's just that we want to be able to make sure that everybody inside that compound understands that we're still knocking on the door, asking them to come out, and we will give them assurances that they will be treated fairly and humanely. One more question. Yes, sir, right here. The question is the 20 or 30 people that are indicating an interest to come out, do these include the children? My impressions that I've been able to obtain based on the discussions, my impressions are that it does not include the children. Again, Mr. Koresh says that those are his children, and in my my impression is that they will not leave voluntarily until Mr. Koresh comes out. Something may change in the meantime, but right now, that's the impression that I have. Thank you.
Okay, there you have it. Bob Bricks from the FBI briefing us, as he does daily, on the outcome of the Waco situation and what's going on there. Just to give you some of the things that he talked about medical assistance being offered there, that it has been offered, but that it has been refused. He talked about Koresh, and he said that Koresh is still in charge, that Koresh wanted to speak with them, but because of his medical condition, he couldn't. He felt that he was too injured to talk. Media access. He says that no one will no longer be allowed to have direct access with the media. Koresh won't have direct access with the media as far as they're concerned. They will attempt to have another face-to-face meeting today with Mr. Snyder. And as far as the other things will go, well, we will have more at noon about the Waco situation, so stay tuned to Channel 5 News.
This has been a special report from Channel 5, the Texas News Channel.